Hello viewers, thank you very much. This is iAfrica TV and of course welcome to this special edition. Well, we are here of course to bring you a special discussion with regards to some very important matters with regards to national development, because as you may know, His Excellency the President of the Republic, President Adam Barrow, is set to embark on a regional tour at the URR, or should I say, on a visit at URR to launch some projects. And of course, we are here to talk about that because, of course, I have some government officials joining me on these special discussions to talk about the inauguration of the road projects. That is, of course, the Pasamas Lamin Kotro road, and of course, also we would have the Gambia College annex in Basse that will be also inaugurated by the President of the Republic. And of course we will talk also on the road project, that is of course the Sukuta Jambanjeli road project and all that. So this is why we are here this hour and this time to talk about that. So I am glad to say, of course, joining me is of course Mr. Malang Jame, Deputy Permanent Secretary Technical at the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure. Mr. Jame, welcome and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening.
All right. Of course, on my left, I have Mr. Bakari Mane, Road Safety Engineer at the National Road Authority. Mr. Mane, good evening and welcome to the program.
Thank you, and it's a pleasure to have us today.
Excellent. So those are, of course, the two gentlemen that I am going to discuss with. Like I have just mentioned, is about, of course, the road projects that are going to be launched by the President of the Republic. As you may have heard earlier on by a press released from State House yesterday, and of course the President will be leaving tomorrow to Basse, and then of course on the 29th of course the project would be launched. Mr. Malan, let me start with you. Of course I know I have mentioned several projects, but first let's start with the President's visit to the URR to launch this project. Of course, I know we are going to talk about the different projects, but first, what can you tell us about the President's visit to the URR?
Actually, as far as the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure is concerned, we knew actually he's going for the launching of 3 projects.
Okay.
One is the Lamenkoto Pasima Road, which is going to be on the 29th of February 2020. The other one is the University of the Gambia College at Basse. The third one and final will be actually the Sukuta Jambanjel, which is going to be on the 7th of March 2020.
Good. Now, let's start with the Pasamas Lamin Kotro road. It has been a long talked about road in this country. People has been anticipating and looking forward to the completion of the road, and finally it has been done. What can you tell us specifically about that road project, Pasamas Lamin Kotro?
Actually, the Lamin Kotro Pasima road is 122 kilometers long. I mean, the implementation was dam fitting to be 36 months.
Yes.
And it has been done within the framework of that time.
Within that time.
With no other contractual implications or financial implications. And after that, I mean, we're trying to do what we call an addendum to the contract as well. That is after the inauguration, to ensure that we link the Bansan spur to Bansan. And the Basse was Yoruba wool. The Bansan spur will include a bridge, actually. But in the Basse side of it, we have an aid from China, which actually is going to bridge the gap. The road, actually, specifically, is a standard primary road, a first-class road, which composes of different layers. After the subgrade formation, you have a sub-base material of 20 centimeters. The base material is actually also 27 centimeters, which is cement stabilized. But the wearing cost, which is the asphalt surfacing, is 5 centimeters. Upon all that, it is also designed at a speed of 60 to 100 kilometers per hour, based on the locality and the certain sections of the road. Like within the towns, is 60 kilometers per hour. and out of the towns is about 100 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
But actually, for road safety uses, the road safety expert will actually talk about
Absolutely.
it. There must be probably an imposed loads a speed limit for the project.
Good. Before we talk about the road safety, like you said, Mr. Mane will lead us to that. But of course, like I said, if you talk about the Pasamas Laminkot road, it has been something that Gambians has been looking for, like I mentioned earlier on. Probably this is in fact, as we understand, it has been started from the First Republic to the Second Republic, and to now to the Third Republic under President Barrow. Eventually, it has been completed. Now, tell us about the importance of this road in terms of transport in the Gambia as someone working on the
link. The link is really a very good link.
Okay.
Actually, it's going to enable the whole country. The concept of building this country as a ring road. We start from Banjul, coming Brikama, to Soma, to Bansang, to Basse, to Fatoto. You take off coming Lamenkoto, to Pasimas, to Farafenya, to Eseu. And apparently, we're thinking of bridging the Bara Banjul bridge, which is completely going to be a formation like a ring road.
Okay.
The road actually is also an enabler to access to the markets, access to agricultural farms and communities, access to education, and also it's going to provide access to health services, which is very important in a sense for those sections. Okay. Because during the feasibility period and design period, I was a living witness to see how actually that road is cut off. Sometimes communication becomes impossible in the month of September and August due to heavy pour of rains. Okay. And normally when ladies especially want to go to health services with their babies or for delivery on the donkey cart, some of them are almost.
Yeah, indeed, that is very, very important as well. Now, you mentioned, Arian, about the time frame given for the construction of the road. It looks like you have made it on time, as you have said.
Exactly.
Now, what role does the government under President Barrow has played, if there's any, specifically in making sure that the work is done on time and completed, as you have said?
That's a very, very good question. In any national development agenda of any country, we are technicians. But for a project, for you to realize a project, there must be a political will of the government. And this happens, President Barrow becomes the President of the Republic of the Gambia. I think any project we're going to implement, if you don't have a political will and approval, it will be difficult for you to actually implement it. Because most of these projects, before you actually implement them, they go to the National Assembly, certify in accordance to our development agendas. In this regard, I say the national development goals, and again, cabinet. So you cannot actually implement a project without a political will, because if not, you cannot actually mobilize the funds.
Excellent. I know we'll come back to you later. So we, of course, move on to the other projects. Mr. Mane, if I can come to you, of course, we would now talk about safety and road quality here. Probably you've visited the work. What can you tell us exactly, if you have seen what has been done about the quality and safety of the road, as far as you are concerned?
Thank you very much once again. Lamenkoto Pasemaus, like my DPS said, it's a very long road. The stretch is very long compared to other roads that we have in the Gambia. Where this road is built in such a way that is amazing. It's first class. It's a asphalt tar road. When we talk about roads, we have different type of roads. Within here, you will see certain roads, the way they're built, and the way these other ones are built are different. Even a point of a layman, you will see the surface are quite different. This is asphalt. Durability wise is more durable than what we call surface dressing. and the other, because we have surface dressing, you have asphalt, and you have a cement concrete road.
Exactly. Probably, if I can interject here, why the difference? Sort of, is it because of financial play here, or is it because of whatever? Because it's important to know. You talked about the quality. You're trying to explain the difference of roads here and that other one over there.
Okay. The three different types of road that I just mentioned.
Yes.
These are all good. Perhaps the durability will be differ here. The asphalt, the durability of this road is about 25 years. Yes. That is this asphalt, this road that we built.
Yes.
We call first class road. The other one, the one that we call surface dressing, 10 years, 15 years. Yeah. You have a concrete that can go up to 50 years, cement concrete.
But do we normally have that in Gambia? Sometimes you will see a road built within 3, 4, 5 years and it starts cracking here and there. Isn't that a problem, or how can you explain that?
Because let me help you here. This is something that each time we will go to media, people will ask.
Yeah.
Road maintenance or road. We need to maintain our roads.
Okay.
Road maintenance, the road maintenance period start at the completion of every road, every newly built road.
Okay.
The construction, the maintenance period start that very that you said you were finished constructing a particular road. So a maintenance period start from you handing over of your new project, because the maintenance, we use machines to build roads.
Yes.
And human beings are the ones who use those machines to build roads. And we are not perfect human beings. We make errors. We calculate errors in human behavior and machines alike.
Okay.
Machines too make errors. So we cannot do away with completely perfectness that we're talking about here. So in each road, every road that you construct must go through a maintenance period. And a maintenance period for each road is at the completion of each newly road, or every newly road that you just completed. Okay. The maintenance period starts. What you're talking about to say 2, 3 years? No, obviously the road is being used. Yeah. And we also have our climate here. We build roads based on the climates in the Gambia here. Sorry. This we see ourselves in the rainy season.
Yes.
Water is not friendly. It's not friendly with road, because what we use to build roads, beneath my DPS just said, we have layers. We use layers to build roads before you have the finished product, asphalt. Okay. Or concrete or cement concrete.
All right.
Those layers are being, we use laterite. So laterite, you go to other countries, they use cement-based concrete before they put asphalt.
Good. Going back to the Pasamas Laminkot Road, you mentioned about the weather, water, and all that. And have you considered, this one in this case? You were talking about the quality and the time. A road,
yeah. Sorry, before building each road, you conduct what we call an assessment of a particular area, okay. Which involves even economical assessment. We don't get up and build roads. He said we build roads to connect cities. Yeah. Economically, and it involves a lot of things. But that's why we have asphalt road on Lamenkoto Pasamat. Okay. It's perfectly done. Asphalt duration, the durability is longer. And if you go to that road, you'll be amazed, because you will say, as a layman, even the surface, nobody needs to tell. Engineers, what takes us to build a road is only engineers know. Okay. The laymen, they're only interested in the finished product.
There are technicalities
involved. Okay. You don't know about that one. All you are interested is, we want a good road. And a good road, you don't need to become an engineer to determine this is a good road or this is not a good road.
Yeah, but also, in as much as people demand roads so good, because also people want to have when roads are built or constructed, people want to see it last long.
Yes.
As much as possible, but sometimes, in many cases,
our roads last very long here.
Oh,
yeah, because For instance, we have this newly bypass. I think is one of the newly built road that within here.
Okay.
I can give example. The Kololi Senegambia road. That is 10 years now, and it's on asphalt. We don't have a major maintenance on that road.
But there are some.
No.
Okay.
Senchu Road, the connection Senchu from the Combo Coastal Road via through Welingara to Tabokoto, that road has been built since 2002.
Okay.
Or before that. So obviously our roads last long. The only thing that is disturbing Gambia is the space. We build roads based on the space that we provided. Gambia is not geographically or totally mapped out to see before a settlement being created, roads are marked. That is not that is somebody's job. But Gambia, the only place that is demarcated in Gambia is Banjul. We all seen that Banjul is well demarcated.
Yeah.
They have a bigger road.
It's the capital city.
Capital
by the way.
city.
Yeah.
But apart from Banjul,
yeah.
which town here is we've all been a living witness to this newly estate builders.
Yeah. Developers.
Developers. So that's something that. But the quality of our roads are we're building very good quality roads in this country. But the maintenance aspect, of course, you people will be seeing us on the road, maintaining the road, because that's what takes us to get what we want.
Excellent. And I hope, with you looking at the way you have described the quality, and I know, I think, there will be no maintenance anytime soon with regards to this road we are talking about. Now, let's specifically talk about the safety aspect of the road, because when new roads are built, drivers sometimes would eager to use the roads, and of course over speeding, accidents here and there. What are the measures you have taken as technicians to make sure that probably those are things that you put in mind, and then there are precautionary measures taken?
Yeah, thank you very much. The Lamenkoto, specifically the Lamenkoto Passamas road, is a safer road. In road safety, in order to achieve road safety, standard-wise, the roads needs to be safer. Vehicles needs to be safer. The vehicles that you are applying on need to be safer. Then we can minimize the road crash on the road, or we can minimize the fatal road crash that we are experiencing on the road.
Okay.
This particular road is very safe because it comes with all the safety requirements. It has all the speed limits, signboards on the road.
Yeah.
They are reflective. You're driving at night there because there's no street lights over there. You're driving at night. You think that NAWEC is at that end providing you with lightning, because everywhere is blinked. Everywhere is light coming from everywhere, because the road marks on the roads are reflective, and those are the ones helping you to be driving or to be seeing your way out. And the signboards over there, they're not only there to decorate the route. We have speed limits, like my DPS just said. Road marks in the road. Some of the drivers, is very sad in this country. Some will ask you, why are you doing this?
Okay.
Thinking that they don't even know what is those road signs on the road. But I always say, road signs on the roads, the drivers, that cannot be an excuse to any driver in this country, because we all assume before being certified and to get a driver's license, you must go through all these tests. So you must know the speed limits, signs. You must know the marks on the road, whether broken or straight lines. Broken means you can overtake there. You can go this way and overtake. Straight line means you cannot, because you are not saying clearly in front. Maybe the road is like this, an obstruction, maybe it's a bend. You're not allowed to go. All those ones are there to guide the drivers to drive safely on this road. And in addition, we also built along with speed humps, on standard speed humps, which when you're driving, even you sleeping, you happen to bump into it, it won't throw you out. we build speed homes not to create any problem on the road, but to reduce the speed drivers are applying on the road. So basically, we have all the road safety requirements on that this newly built road.
All right, excellent, and we hope you know, drivers and anybody who, of course, will be looking to use the road will be so much, of course, be wary of that, because that's, you know, very, very important as well. In as much as we need roads, we need to be very much also be aware about some of the, you know, the I wouldn't call it danger, but sometimes some of the things that happen, because accidents and you know, sometimes do happen and all that. Now, of course, I know we have we would not have that enough time to talk about so much on this on other issues, but Mr. Jammeh, moving on to the other projects, of course, we will move on because we have another road project to talk about. That's the Sukuna Jambanjeli Road. But before we get to that, we're still going to stay in URR from Laminkoto Pasamas Road, and we talk about the college annex in Basse. Tell us about that as well.
I would try to tell you something, but it's unfortunate that
it goes
under the Ministry of Higher Education.
Oh, okay.
However, being a senior officer,
yes,
I think building a college at Basse is not a mistake. One is geared to access to education.
Okay.
When I mean easy access to education. Now, those people who have been suffering for quite a long time.
Yeah.
All of their students and sons and daughters normally come to acquire their educations, higher ones, in the Combos and in Banjul. And sometimes to get a good landlord becomes a challenge.
Yeah.
So actually creating a college there is cost saving and optimizing cost involved to make sure that your child is being educated.
Exactly. That's quite very important, like you said. But again, like you said, you are from the Minister for Education whatsoever, because I would have gone to ask you about, of course, the quality of education. Yes, it's important to have a college in Basse, like you have said, but of course, people have been, of course, questioning about, you know, the quality, maybe the funding aspect of it, you know.
One thing I know, the Honorable Minister of Higher Education is a veteran.
Yes.
He has both national, international, and worldwide experience. And he has been working as consultants also within the World Bank frameworks. And I can bet you, I'm sure perfectly that the man can make good value the educational standards in the Gambia.
Indeed.
Badara is a great man.
Yeah, in as much as that may be the case, but then also if you look at our the college in Brikama, of course you talk about the quality, you talk about the space, probably one might have thought, why not, you know, renovate or maintain, make it standard and all that before taking that money to go and build a new one in Basse. Of course, we all know decentralization is what we have been yearning for in this country. Yeah. People have been talking about it. But then again, the quality of education, you talk about, like I said, the quality of the old college that we have in Brikama is also questionable somewhere, somehow. I don't know if you may have answers to that, but I wouldn't want to push it that much aspect.
Let me try to answer you that.
Yes.
I was privy when they are designing the University of the Gambia.
Yes.
If you look at the University of the Gambia in Faraba Bantang, it has so many sectorial departments.
Indeed. Department
of Education, Department of Engineering, Arts and Culture, Departments of Agriculture, and so forth. So all these universities are framework of building a complex university. The colleges you are talking, normally in other countries, they are institutions attached to that university. They became feeder to that university. People who cannot go directly to the university can make a transition through colleges, which are sister institutions to the university. And I understand, according to the curriculum of education, MDI, GTI, Gambia College, and Basse, they all are going to be accredited by the University of the Gambia. Therefore, these institutions are annexed to the University of the Gambia. Okay. But it's a process. It cannot be automatic. To make sure it happens, involve mobilization of funds, so that we can get quality educations. And they should also, all Gambians are handing off access to education.
Indeed, of course.
So it should be decentralized.
Yeah, of course it should be decentralized. But of course, like I said, there are are, of course, concerns to many Gambians, I have to say, with regards to, to the quality and, of course, the funding. And I wouldn't ask you about that, or unless if you want to tell us about how those the funding came about of that.
I would want to be fair. I would want to be fair to Minister of Higher Education.
Yeah.
And I think they could be on top of these issues, and they could give you right answers.
Okay, I wouldn't want to. Of course, I would understand that because you're not from that, ministry or whatever. But okay, let's move on. By the way, if you are just joining us, this is a special edition. We are talking about, of course, special projects that the President of the Republic, His Excellency President Barrow, is set to inaugurate this coming week, or should I say, starting from Saturday, the 29th. Of course, the Lamin Court of Pansamasur would be finally, inaugurated by the president. And then, of course, we were just talking about the Gambia College Annex in Basse, also is going to be inaugurated by the president. And then there will be a handing over of a hydrological headquarters on Wednesday, that is on the 4th of February, of course, in Bansang. And then finally he will come back to the Kambos. The Sukuta Jambanjeli road would also be finally inaugurated as well. So that's why we're here. And of course, I'm gladly joined by officials from the Ministry of Works and of course from the National Road Authority as well. And that's why we're here. So if you are just joining us, by the way. Now, of course, let's move on and talk about anything on the hydrological headquarters. Do you pay?
I mean, those are very important departments.
Yeah.
And it helps us even in our road designs. Example.
Yeah.
They try to
does
determine.
Your ministry play any role in the construction of that?
No, I'm coming. Hydraulic is very important.
Indeed.
If you are going to actually implement or construct a road, you have to understand the rainfall patterns. That is put into consideration. So having a good metro which covers that area would help us improve our road infrastructure when we are coming to instruct. Those are data you put into factor. Water is friendly to road construction during construction, but it's a worst enemy after it's been completed.
Okay.
So if you understand that part, you will be able to understand how you're going to address your drainage issues.
Okay.
So that the road is not eroded.
You mentioned it, but probably I might turn to Mr. Mani and ask, probably in any way, do you advise government or to maybe to build something like that in talking about safety measures and all that?
No,
I'm talking about the hydrological headquarters in Bansang.
Yes, like my DPS said, actually government departments, government is only one.
Yeah.
Departments, we are interconnected.
Indeed.
We are partners in development. If one is absent, it might create a problem for me to execute my duty. And hydro, obviously, we working in partnership with them. They are our major partners in.
Were you consulted to give advice with regards to the construction of such a?
Well, I won't comment on that because I have no idea on that one.
Okay.
I'm just talking about the importance of coming that being coming into play.
Okay.
How is important to our work.
Okay. I think these stations were there for a long time.
Yes.
It's just trying to upgrade them.
Exactly.
When I was at Amity School, there was one in Bansang, one at Makati, and one even at Bansang, Mansajang behind the police station. There is one at Western Ginoy, and there is one at the airport, and there is one at Banjul where the airport. National Air Assembly is just beside it. So this zonal hydro, they are very important. Specifically, they determine in any zone the rainfall pattern.
Okay.
And these are collective data, so even good for agriculture. It tells you when the rain is coming, how and when, and it also gives you a technical advice, probably what type of crops are expected to be grown that year. Whether we're going to have heavy rainfall, small rainfalls, and so forth. It's a forecast.
Okay.
It's just like weather forecast. Weather forecast involved in anything, both wind and water, and so many things.
So probably we can say President...
Even in erotic plains, you need them. One is at the Yundum.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Interesting. I can see, you know, he's so much informed in many areas as far as you know, those issues are concerned. Now let's come back to the of course the Sukuta Jambanjeli Road, because I know those are the areas that we can, you know, discuss widely. Of course, another important project I want to believe. Sukuta Jambanjeli. Many people also have been talking about the road itself before it in fact has been completed. Finally, the work is done. Again, if I may ask, what can you tell us about the work done at that road as well?
I think this is also a milestone achievement of this government, from the Barrow government, His Excellency, the Republic of the Gambia. As we all know, this area is densely populated, and actually creating a dual two-lane on that is very important. What it does is urban migration. Serekunda and Bakawa and others are congested.
Yes.
Before the road is constructed, we've seen that place is always bushy. When the intention of that road is known as feasibility, people went on land grabbing. The road is almost now completed. It's almost no space available unless somebody buys a land to you. So in other words, what I'm trying to tell you, economically, roads actually create what you call urban drift for new settlement. And they also create travel time, certain travel time, access to the market. People from Jambanjeli, Gunjur, Sanyang, and so forth can easily travel to access market on time. And they can also use the road quickly to access health service in case of emergencies. So both the road has now a social function and economical function.
Okay.
The social function will be, as I used to say, it's very hard to understand, because the impact of the social function is on other activities, sectorial activities. Just like one, I want to go to the market, I bought some goods and services.
Okay.
My travel time shortened, and I want to go to work also, is shortened. That saves time. And time is money. And if you lose some time, you will never recover it again.
Indeed. That's very good. Now, earlier on, when we were talking about the Lamin Kota Passamas, you talked about the role government played, of which you say it was very, very good. Coming back to this one, you can help me if I'm wrong. I think the project or the road construction was initiated by the former government.
Yeah.
Now, what has been the difference? Is there, if there's any, the two, you know, governments have played differently in making sure that, you know, the work is done? Because
I am not seeing that as a problem. It's just like your own home.
Yes.
If my father dies, I will take the leadership and continue, and also initiate new things to move. So the Gambia, we have to move. Wherever any other government ends, you pick it up from there, you move along at it, and improve on it, and you go. The Sukuta Jambanjel is done. The next one, which I knew, is going to be Jambanjel Gunjur via Sifo on the same road.
Okay.
To create access for those communities.
That is on the pipeline.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's a continuation. We couldn't, I think this what government does is, we are governed by a national development program. This program is validated by Gambians with different experts, which is respected and becomes a Bible or the Quran. But again, if we want this project to move, as I said, a project cannot be moved or initiated in a country without the political will of that government.
Very well. It's good that you're clarifying these issues, because it's important. Sometimes, in many cases, governments, on power would always want to claim something that happened in their time. Of course, even former governments also would come out and say, we initiated this, and now they are doing that. But like you said, of course, it's a continuous and it's a process. And good, it's good that as a country we embrace such kind of political will, like you said.
I really embrace this other government. Whatever they have in hand, they continue with it. They have also new agendas, they move along with it. So they should also equally be commended. I don't believe in secretarial to say, I'm doing this, I'm the one. No, we have to work as a nation. We have to work also as a family. And we have to work as one Gambia. And if we work as one Gambia, we will also support this government to move. And they are moving.
Exactly. All right. I'll come back to you later on, because we will talk about, of course, the work itself, how, some of the if there were any challenges. You mentioned about financial part of it earlier on, but we will find out whether it was, everything okay and all that. Yeah, Mr. Mani, again, let's talk about safety again, because we are now talking about the urban center.
Yeah.
Where people are many.
Yeah.
Of course, the demand for transport is equally very challenging. Sometimes we know. What are the modalities or the measures taken with regards to the Sukuta Jambanjili Road? We always, are concerned about safety, because when new roads are built, there are always sometimes that rush and eager of using those roads. And Mr. Jam have talked about the connection and all that, and how people will be using that road, the importance it has for the community around those areas.
Thank you so much again. Building roads, government, like my DPS said, government build roads. In any development, in any meaningful development, when roads are absent, no development will take place. You cannot build a hospital in the forest area where there is no access of road. You cannot build an agricultural farm very remote when they don't have an access to the market. So with all this development, each time I go out, what I said is, we are the foundation of a development of this country. The road. In the absence of road, let's forget about everything. It will not work. Yeah.
People need.
Even your own house. You have a house that you cannot even have access there. My friend, before moving to somewhere, if you don't own your own house that you want to go for renting, all you ask is, how is the connection? Is accessibility there first before I move? So government build roads, but each time we build new roads here, the culture, we had to do away with the culture, Gambian concept. We are not building roads for people to go and die there. Each time we build very good road in this country, we receive police. You go to police records, you go to statistics, they will show you. We receive high level of road crash or fatal road crash in that road. So we are not only building road and leave it there. That's why we cannot put physical structures that will deter people from traveling. Remember, the primary objective of building road is to reduce the traveling time and cost. Because if you don't every area that doesn't have a good connection or better road infrastructure, go there, go and ask. You're a journalist. The fare there is expensive.
Of course, and in fact, those using the Tabako to Brikama highway know very well, and that's just one example that
we build roads to reduce we build good roads to reduce those things.
Exactly. Now you talked about the mindset of Gambians. Of course, you talk about some of the measures you have taken as
people have to know we as government spend a lot of money on roads. Roads are very expensive. You want to compare my department with another institution, government institution, then you will not be fair to me. Our move, 1 inch move, we calculate millions. Other departments, you want to compare me with them, they calculate in thousands for them to move. So if all the Gambia, everywhere, everybody wants your area to have a road access, quality road. But remember, we don't have the economy. We don't have the economy. Do we have any natural resources in this country? No. Our taxes cannot build that road. This Lamenkoto Pasamas road, the taxes that this government collect cannot build even a quarter of that road. Roads are expensive. People have to know that. If government, what my DPS said, Government is one. Change of government never change. Government are the technicians that runs the government. Only the leadership change.
Okay.
So change of leadership should not stop us somewhere. We are here to move. We are technicians. We are here to this country. We build this country. We're building this country for ourselves. We're building. If my office, I'm sitting in that office, what I am tasked to do, I am not doing that because I involve myself in something that is shifting my total attention from doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not fair to myself. I'm not fair to Gambian people, and I'm not fair to my future kids coming.
Okay.
So attitude that I said, we build roads. We bring all the signboards. Signboards, we don't make signboards in this country. Everything, we bring everything. They're very expensive. It comes with the road package. I'm telling you, putting all the road marks in and the signs, road signs and road
everything.
That one can even build something.
Yeah, but with all those, signboards and the cost,
that's another thing.
But then with all that, it looks like it's not enough. Because in many cases, when roads are built, signboards are there. But looking at what you have said, the level of fatal accidents and all that.
No, let me tell you that one.
It looks like
yeah. Each time I go to the radio or TV, this is what they tell me.
Yeah.
We have enough information on the road. For the road, that's why the road, a particular road, we call a particular road is safe. You know what is lacking here? It's in enforcement. We have very good.
But that also goes back to government.
That's what I'm saying. We have very good rules and regulations in this country when it comes to traffic act. But the thing is, Gambia, we fond of the Maslaha syndrome. The Maslaha syndrome. If we really want to move this country, we have to go away with the Maslaha syndrome. I'll give an example. I knew you. You're using the road. You violated some traffic offense.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Mane, let me talk to Mr. Mane because I think he can help me. If not, they will send me to court. You call me, I call somebody up there, police, because police are law enforcers.
Yeah.
Maybe I know the commissioner of mobile, I call commissioner. This guy that you wanted to take to police, please, I forgive him. Just look at if not, it's not going to be good. Mr. Mane called me. When Mr. Mane requests, I cannot. So I'm interfering in police job, and at the same time, we are the same people criticizing police. They are not doing their job.
So that means, of course, the problem is us. Us means Gambians. And this is everybody from the highest level of government.
Everybody. In fact, when we are building roads, my supervisors will call me. Can you send police here? Because contractor want to work, he cannot even work. Vehicles, some people, not everybody, think they are high in that high office there, they can do anything. We close roads. This a particular road that we are constructing. You come, you said you by force want to use
maybe
that because showing people that you are a top government officer. I'm telling you, when we are building roads, is a top people that disturb us on the road to say we have to pass here.
Wow, that's serious.
Yes, it's serious.
Yeah.
So Gambian, our attitude, we have to change our attitude, and we have to do away with the Maslaha syndrome in order to implement these laws, rules. Because we have the signboards. I mean, you should not drive more than 25 kilometers in a settlement area. You drive in 100. When you are caught, you're supposed to go to a traffic court, right? But if we had to apply the Maslaha syndrome, we are not going anywhere.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, probably someone might say, not everybody can read what is on the signboards, maybe road diversion, or this is the limited speed on a specific area, or whatsoever. Now, don't you think you should have go extra mile, maybe on sensitizing the masses as well? I don't know if you have been doing this as well.
That is my work. Every week, I spend 2, 3, 4 days, different radio stations and TV. We sensitizing. Sensitization will not stop. It's a continuous process.
Okay.
We cannot stop because to say we have no excuse to stop to say we are tired of sensitizing. No, sensitization is a continuous process, and we have to be doing it. But, like I am saying, we have signboards. Some are using our signboards, bringing them down at night, go and use them for their selfish interests.
Wow.
Scrap metals.
That's not unfortunate.
Scrap metals. Sukuta, Westfield Sukuta Road. He was on the ground there. He was an engineer or manager on that road. But ask him what happened there. We have signboards everywhere. But go there, you keep counting them. Okay. How many is left?
All right.
You bring them down and
probably he would want to comment on that. I think that's very interesting, Mr. Jame. You know, some of the things that he's mentioning, I think need to be looked at as well.
I think what Bakari is saying, just to sum everything up, is the behavior context of Gambians. What makes us not to grow? We don't have to blame the police. For me personally, I'm not going to blame the police. Because once they test you and issue a lancing, the minimum information you got in your lancing is the quadrilateral informations. Those are the basics. And those basics on your lancing is what is translated on the ground of the road sign. When you see a dash, dash, dash means you can overtake at that area. When it's continuous, you don't go. When it is yellow, you don't even go beyond the boundary. So these are basic informations which a driver should know. And they knew about it. But because there is a carefree attitude, you tend to drive a vehicle at 150 kilometers or 120 kilometers. Most of them are drunk, sometimes overnight, I bet you. If you go to Senegambia area around 11 o'clock and find young boys coming from these hotels, they are almost mad because they are drunk.
That's serious.
Yes.
And it's worrisome, by the way.
That's why you have those fatal accidents over it.
Yeah.
What the ministry is now trying to do with the National Road Authority, we are trying to build up a data system.
Okay.
Road infrastructure data system. This gives you a lot of information and also mitigations on the highway, speed controls automatically. And once this data is formalized, and hoping that under the leadership of our minister, Honorable Baila Minjo, and adopted, that's going to avert or reduce a lot of risks. And NRA is the most beneficiary for that. The data system can even, when you put certain sensors along the road, you are overspeeding like Europe, it's going to
you'll be charged for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. Just you know,
and
as you
under the road safety aspect of it, the data under the road safety. One of our planners, Suleiman J, has acquired certain concept data information from POMSET in Istanbul. We're building on that road safety issues and trying to probably in our budget this year to get basic information to the police. Like if they caught somebody, they can be able to detect whether you have taken too much alcohol or not, to be able to establish those facts for prosecutions. So as we are talking as ministry and NRA, we are very conscious and concerned of the facts of what are happening right now. And we are in progress to mitigate this problem.
Okay.
And the stakeholders involved in this are the police, Bakare, if I am right, Central Statistics Bureau, the National Road Authority, the Municipal Council, and so forth. So we're working in globe on that. But it has to go alongside also what we are trying to do to improve in our infrastructures. Like the OIC component is going to complement on that.
Okay, I know we will touch on that probably because you mentioned it. I'm trying to know what are the plans, because my director was in fact asking me about that, and I would love to if you can at least give us some info about it as well. But then as we were also talking about the people's mindset, the attitude of our people, these Gambians, I want to say. During Independence celebration, I have the president. I heard him mention about attitudinal change. He talked about it. But before President, Barrow, President Jamba used to talk about attitudinal change. But I don't know, as leaders have been reminding us Gambians about this, whether people are listening to such kind of things.
I think to make it happen is to establish how the message goes filtered to downside. When the president make a pronouncement, it's a message.
Yeah.
And it becomes automatically a policy.
Yeah, but then if president make a...
when he said attitudinal change,
yeah,
it is us now to make that the technician it happen.
But sadly...
I believe in this.
Sadly, if somebody in higher position in government sometimes misbehave, like he has given example, I think
that
that's
is
a
what
problem.
he's now trying to tell you.
Yeah, that's...
The Muslaha issues are now to discipline a young engineer, a young boy at any ministry now. He will just tell you, Kotobi defa bari affair. Because discipline is lacking.
Okay.
At home, mostly, and workplace, and so forth. And if we don't attain better disciplinary behaviors, we cannot grow as a nation. Just like in UK, automatically everybody knows that to throw rubbish on the ground is a crime.
Yeah.
To an extent that if you see somebody in UK, he will put those things in the pocket and try to put it in the dustbin. They have been educated. But mobilizing funds also to make people understand the basic issues. Once you are doing it, some cheap people with simple, cheap-minded setting will say they're wasting their money for nothing. That's the Gambian attitude.
Okay. Yeah.
So they try to negate and downplay your expert
side of things.
Exactly.
Exactly. Now, it's good that Mr. Mane have said they are not relenting. They will keep on talking to people, sensitizing people to know that, of course, people have to be responsible enough in certain ways also to avoid such things happening as far as development is concerned. Now, coming back to the, Sukuta Jambanjeli Road, tell us about, of course, you have mentioned about the importance it has for the communities around those ends, but in terms of the work, how did it went again or go, if I may say? Was there any challenge that challenges you encountered along the way in constructing the road? Less, for example, financial constraints or whatever. Because you said earlier on that with regards to Pasamas Janjambur, everything was done in time.
Also, similarly, it does.
Okay.
It's in two phases. Constructing the road and the relocation of the services main pipe.
Yeah.
To be out of the road, because you cannot build a main service within the center.
Okay.
And they have a soft loan for that to be able to transfer the water main to the side of the roads.
Okay.
So that when there is eventuality of any busting and so forth, that will not affect.
Okay.
But I can tell you, that road equally has been constructed standardly. And we have delegated our mandate, and NRA with the ministry has delegated their mandate for GAMMOX to be the implementing agency.
Okay.
And they have done a tremendous good job there.
Good.
Because it's a two-lane.
Okay.
And definitely, I'm very proud to be associated with that project.
Good.
Absolutely. The characteristics of that road also is similar specification to Lamenkoto Pasamat. The only differences in this issue is the method you use to construct a road under the urban sector.
Okay.
That's always a virgin land.
Yeah.
Those are the challenges.
I know.
Because you have to relocate some services which were in place, which nobody thought of. That road would have been a dual carriage.
Good. Now we are almost coming to the end of the program, but just finally, you were mentioning some of the road projects, of course, that are on the pipeline, and of course you also touch on the OIC. I would just want to take 1 minute of your time, if you can tell us anything about the road projects of the OIC, if you may, and then finally we'll just allow you to tell us what role will you play on the very inauguration of these projects as ministry, and then probably your message to the Gambian. But first on the OIC.
Our minister has taken a very good advanced step in the implementation of the OIC, and who is actually Honorable Bailamin Joe.
Okay.
There are a lot of stakeholders involved in the formulation of the OIC. The OIC Secretariat, the NRA, Ministry of Works, NAWEC, and GAMTEL, as well as civil aviation.
Okay.
That forms the body of OIC implementing agency.
Yeah.
One, the VIP and the airport terminal will be upgraded, because that's the first entry of
I would wanted you to just to touch on the road aspect.
Okay, the road aspect of
because
it,
of time,
we have a 50-kilometer feeder routes, which are going to be connected from the airport to Sting Corner.
Yeah.
And the Sting Corner one is also an express highway, which is a three-lane dual carriageway that's going to be constructed.
Do we know how soon the work will
As
start?
I'm telling you, a consultant has been identified, evaluated and approved for no objection to carry on the detailed designs.
Fantastic. We hope the work the work will start pretty much soon, because I know Gambians are looking forward to that. Yeah. But of course, specifically we are talking about the inauguration of the project by the president. Yeah. We just wanted to have probably an insight about that. Finally, your role on the inauguration of this project. We have mentioned about so many things about it, and of course, what message also would have for the Gambians before we end this program?
Actually, we would actually advise people to be mindful of using these roads, because they are tempting. They are new roads.
Indeed.
They have to be careful of overspeeding, as the road safety engineer is talking about. Yeah. They have to respect the rule of law.
Okay.
If not, you're losing your life when you make an accident on those roads, because the rideability of those roads are fantastic.
Okay.
You don't take advantage of that to be a rough man. And the other one also I would actually appeal to all Gambians, as road infrastructures are expensive and is actually dedicated for our own economic improvement and social being, to come up, join the government, NRA, Ministry of Works and GAMWORKS, or the government entirely, and join the President, His Republic of the Gambia, to celebrate and inaugurate those roads.
All right. Excellent.
Because in the official statements, there will be a lot of messages sent to them about the road and how the road will be used. And the funding agencies from Saudi are willing to join us, more than 6 funding agencies.
Okay. Yeah. That's a very good message, and I hope Gambians would heed to the message and to the caller as well. Mr. Mane, finally, what message would you have for the Gambians? I know you are not relenting. You'll keep on talking to Gambians. You will keep on sending out the message so that they will be, so much, of course, be informed about road safety and some other issues as well. So,
that's our course. We keep doing that. Like you said, we'll never relent in doing that. Okay. We want safer roads. We want our citizens to not to be involved in such. So we will not do away with that. Okay. My final message would be particularly on this inauguration. People driving to this to observe this inauguration. Let them observe the speed limits. Okay. Let them be careful, like my DPS said. Let them not follow the smoothness of the road, because it may lead them somewhere off the road, which God forbid, we're not praying for that. Absolutely. Drive safe to the venue and come back safely. If you drive safe, the life you save might be yours, and let's all be good drivers so that we save lives in this country.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Of course, it was a pleasure having you on this platform. So we talk about the inauguration of the project. You had them, of course, talked about the work of the projects and, of course, the safety side of it. Of course, we would have loved to talk more of it, but of course, this is all how much we got time for. Mr. Malang Jame, Deputy Permanent Secretary, Technical at the Ministry of Transport and Works and Infrastructure. Thank you very much for coming. And of course, Mr. Bakari Mane, Road Safety Engineer at the National Road Authority. Equally, thank you so much for coming. Well, viewers, of course, that's all how much we got time for this special edition, of course, talking about the launching of projects by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency President Barrow. Just to remind you, of course, on Saturday, the 29th of February, he would inaugurate the Lamin-Koto Pasamas Road at 12 noon, and then, of course, on Monday, the 2nd, he will, of course, inaugurate the Gambia College Basse Annex. Of course, that's in URR. And then and of course there will be also rather handing over that will be done by the hydrological headquarters in Bansang, and then finally he will come down to the Kombos and the Sukuta Jambanjeli road also will be inaugurated. So those are the projects we all look forward to it, and I know Gambians also will be equally excited to finally see that those projects and works completed. On that note, we want to thank you so very much for the pleasure of your company, and we wish you a splendid night. Bye bye.